Alrighty, y'all, welcome back. So if you watched the last one, I was in Arizona for a wedding. I am still down here and I've got a spot picked out for tonight. But we'll see what it's like when I get there. I am currently driving through what I believe is called the Morenci Copper Mine area. It's a massive mine. And was it last year? Yeah, last year I was down here in this area. And I camped out and I spotted a place called the Clifton Jail. I'll leave a link for that probably up in the corner, one of these corners, or down in the description or something like that if you want to check it out. But this is a pretty cool spot, and it's kind of wild how you just kind of drive through the mine area like this. But I'm heading to like a scenic overlook area now, which is like an hour away. And then I think the camp spot is about an hour after that. So we'll see what it's all about. We've got some good mountain views to drive through, and just enjoy this. I was in Tucson for 3 days for the wedding. It was a good time, but we're turned around and we're getting headed back home. But we've got a few nights to make it there. So stay tuned, y'all. I'm in the middle of this mine. You can see this giant dump truck up there. This whole thing has been mined. Everywhere you look. Oh, there's a scenic overlook here. We're gonna have to stop at that. And another tunnel. Yeah, this is crazy. Just as far as you can see. They must be pulling a massive amount of metal out of this place. Huh. Oh, the scenic view is closed. It's kind of a bummer. It would have been cool to see how far down it went. But I imagine it goes pretty deep in there. All right. Guess I'll see you guys at the next spot. It's gorgeous out here, y'all. For those of you that think the Southwest or like Arizona, it's just desert, you're absolutely wrong. There is awesome desert scenery to see, but there's also great mountainous terrain and trees and just views for days down here. Just massive mountains. And everything you could want to put a smile on your face. All right, I've made it to the Red Mountain Overlook. Nope, guess I'm supposed to go down the other direction. Dang. God, it's gorgeous out here. Look at that. You can see snow on the mountains over there. And over there. Blue Range Primitive Area. So there's multiple mountains. Moggleton Peak, Head Mountain Trail, Raspberry Peak, Red Mountain is out in front of us. This is Arizona. You've got snow on the top of the mountains. It is beautiful. There must be a fire lookout out here somewhere. There was a big wildfire in 1994, the Mule wildfire. Yeah, I definitely feel like this is one of those areas where, you know, people just think, oh, it's Arizona, it's just desert. And like I said, it is gorgeous out here. There are so many things to see. There's cow patties right here. So we are on an open range area. I'm gonna get hopped back in the truck. We've got a few miles to go to hit the spot. And we'll see what it's like when we get there. Alright, y'all. So the campground that I was planning to camp at tonight is closed. I think it may be closed for the season. It was Luna Lake Campground. So I'm gonna have to find another spot to go to. I passed like an RV park on the way here, but that doesn't look like a good time. But the problem is it's already 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so the sun is gonna drop quick. So I'm gonna have to find a spot. I think I'm gonna head back to the nearest gas station that I just stopped at, which is just a couple miles down the road, and I'll kind of see what they have to say. But I guess we'll figure it out when we get there. The cool part is like there's mountains in front of me and they're completely covered with snow. This place must have gotten snow recently because I've had a couple cars headed towards me that were completely covered in snow already. So we are at like 8,000 foot of elevation right now. So it's one of those places really up there. Oh, and there's a guy on a adventure bike. But, all right, I'm gonna head back to the town here. I think it's called Alpine, Arizona, which is right up here. And the gas station I stopped at, I think there was a ranger station right next to it. And that campground, what I believe was a National Forest campground. So fingers crossed they're actually open and I can go in and talk to them about it, but we'll figure it out, y'all. I'll see you at the spot whenever we work out. Alrighty, y'all, I've made it to a spot. There is a fire pit here. I am out in the National Forest, and it's actually pretty chilly out. I'm gonna have to, what is the temperature right now? So I have a feeling it is going to get cold tonight. It's currently 45, sunsets at 5:09, it's 4:20, and we have a low of 26 degrees tonight. So it is definitely gonna get cold. Might actually have to break out the heater tonight, but we're chilling, dude. This is a gorgeous area. No snow on the mountains or anything that I can see, but I am at like 8,000 feet of elevation, so I am way up there right now. But I think for the time being, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this fire going and probably put on a hoodie and whatnot and my vest to get a little bit warmed up so I don't get cold. But yeah, let's get this fire chooching. And we are in bear country, so we do have to be slightly concerned about that. Everything is pretty wet. Not too shabby. Probably gonna keep dinner pretty simple tonight just because of our location. I don't really have, like, guess I could just put the food all out here, but I've never really worried about that too much in places like this. Maybe one day I'll get eaten by a bear, but it is what it is. But I'm not going to cook any fancy meal and make a lot of smells. And considering how cold it is, bears might be in hibernation anyways. I don't know. At least we got the fire going with the moistness and the lack of legitimate fire starters. I've been spoiled by those things. So we're going to make ourselves a little sandwich. Oh, that's actually just torn open. We've got some regular old bagels here that were from the wedding. So we're going to use this. Make myself a dang old bagel Sammy. I suppose I could probably throw this on the grill, but I think we'll just eat it up. Ain't nothing wrong with the simple dinner. Bam, bam. So we've got ourselves a bagel. We've got some of our leftover cheese that we've been using. We will do cheese on both sides, although we got to put some mayo on there. I've got this sriracha mayo. Oh, that ain't gonna help our cause. Dang, old dang. That, sweet. It's got a nice stank to it. Elevation changes and whatnot. That didn't help. Cheese on both sides. I have some super greens. Picked these up at the grocery store. Some random grocery store that I ran across. Toss some of those on. We'll do that on both sides too. Bam, bam. Guess slightly healthier dinner tonight. maybe not. And we've got some deli fresh rotisserie chicken, just some regular old lunch meat. We're gonna put that on there fairly thick. Bam. Bam. Bam, bam. Not too shabby for dinner. Nothing fancy, but sometimes a simple sandwich gets the job done. I do have chips and other snacks and whatnot that I could eat later, so don't get worked up that I didn't make anything fancy, because I know a lot of you guys watch for the food that I cook. I'm just really stoked on the adventure that we had today. Seeing that massive mine was really, really cool. I did not expect it to be that big. And then driving through that mountain pass, which, dude, that was a couple hours of driving. You guys are only going to see maybe 5 minutes of that stuff. So many curves, so much gorgeous scenery, and the snowy passes. Like, I was really hoping that I'd find a snowy spot that I could spend the night, but it is what it is. I'm stoked on this place anyways. And a bagel sandwich ain't bad. I do have a drink though. My brother-in-law gave me this at the wedding to give it a try. A&W Ice Cream Sundae. Ice cream, sundae soda. It's artificially flavored. No caffeine in it. It does have all the sugar, but said you could taste like the chocolate and everything. That's good. I like to have this on ice cream. That would be like double the flavor. Cheers, y'all. Whew, all right. Made it in the truck. It got cold out there quick. But it's not even that late. Whew, all right. Let me get changed quick. Man, these are cold too. Dang old day. Too much clothes on. Ugh. Message. Oh. Just gotta make sure I lock my doors so the birds don't get me. I do have some bear spray. Not that I feel like I'm gonna need it, but it's all right. Ooh. Let's the dang old thing back on. All right. Let me get my pants changed. All right. Whew. We'll get under the covers. All right. Not too bad. See what this, curious about this copper mine. I'm pretty sure when I did the other video where there's a town down below it, and like I said earlier, I stopped at this, it's called the Clifton Jail, which was just like carved into the side of the rock or whatever. And then I stayed down the road. I think I looked this up, but I want to check it out again. So the Morenci Mine in southeastern Arizona is the largest copper mine in the United States and one of the largest open pit mines in the world. It's been in operation since the 1870s, transitioning from an underground to an open pit mine in 1937. The mine is a major producer of copper and is operated by the Freeport-McMoran Company. The mine produces about 700,000 tons of rock daily, producing approximately 840 million pounds of copper annually. So 840 million pounds of copper per year come out of that place. That gives you a size of that space. And yeah, it's an open pit mine, so they're not like going into tunnels or anything there. It started that way, but what is the size of it is kind of what I'm wondering. The mine covers approximately 61,700 acres, with the open pit mine itself stretching about 3.4 miles wide and 4.6 miles long. It's according to Google. The final depth of the pit is expected to be about 4,500 feet. So I don't know if that's what it is now, but that's wild, dude. That is huge. 61,000 acres. It's hard to even imagine how big that actually is. I should probably give the missus a call, see what she's got to say. I could honestly just go to bed anyways. There's probably some stuff on the tube I haven't watched also.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad.
Did you find a good spot?
Yeah. I got a forest spot. The first place I went to was closed, but I ended up finding a decent one not far down the road. So it's a little chilly,
Nice.
but it's not bad.
Deal.
Alright, I'm gonna get a little heat going up in here if I can. Talk to the wife for a while. These are cold, of course. Yes, I do have a carbon monoxide detector. No, I don't run it all night. Just run it for 20 minutes is about all you need in a space like this, and it gets so hot in here anyways. So, and probably not even 20 minutes, but I've also got, like, the back door ain't sealed perfectly, so there's still some airflow. That window up front is cracked. Come on, you can do it, cold machine. Usually if you hold it down for a minute, it works. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. There we go. How to use this thing in a minute. That feels good. Feels real good. Real nice. Alright. Back under here while I can. That does make a lot of condensation too, so you gotta think about that, but other than that, you know, like I said, just running it for a few minutes at a time can help a ton. you know, if you don't want to mess with the diesel heater or anything like that, which I'll probably end up getting one at some point this year. We must see what's on the old tube. Haven't been watching it much. Dangle rice Miata.
We are outside before it's dark because I wanted to do something special. We got Orion back at the shop today, and this is going to be, you didn't even know I had this fire, right?
Good morning, y'all. I stayed up and watched a bunch of YouTube videos. Wasn't too bad. Got a bit of a drive today. Make a cup of coffee first, though. Floor is cold. Crank this guy back on. Tootsies. Well, I didn't get eaten by a bear. Yet, anyways. Oh. All right, what am I doing? thick mattress. I've been thinking more about what I'm gonna do. You know, I really wish my back chub didn't hang out, but I really wish I could find, I've been looking for either a space cap, it's spelled space KAP, and it's like a smaller fiberglass slide in. They're like contractor bodies. I don't know. People make campers out of them all the time, but they're like they don't hang over the edges of the truck. I think you can get one that's tall enough to stand up in. They've got a little bit of a cab over, but it's not like you don't sleep up there over the thing. It's just a taller, it's a larger fiberglass thing, but it's a slide in. And then there's another company called Tuff-Port, Tuff Port, that makes something really similar. Tuff-Port has actually come out with like a camper design. Both of those would be really cool, but trying to find a used one is like a needle in a haystack. There was a used Tuff-Port that recently came up for sale from, like, it was like a trade-in or something, but it was up in Canada. I think it was still $9,000 or something like that. But one of those would be really cool. Other than that, I might just build a topper. Like, I just need, you know, really like 6 to 8 more inches of height would be more than enough for me. I could go a little bit taller on the bed then and have some more storage space underneath of it, but I don't know. It's hard to find stuff like that used. And I think I mentioned it at some point. There's a company called Radica, and they make it's a topper called the Moonlander. And then they make the Moonlander X, but it just bolts on the bed rails like a normal topper, but it comes out a little bit on the sides, and it allows you to sleep this way across the front of it. And they do cool stuff, like they got bubble windows you can add to it. They've got a big bubble skylight you can put on. And I think with the skylight on there, like, and the extra height that adds, it's almost 6 foot inside. If you get the Moonlander X has a tiny little cab over, not big enough to sleep in or anything like that. But I priced one of those out with the insulation package and like all the windows and stuff. I think it was like $14,000. If this truck wasn't 16 years old, I'd probably be more apt to do it, but I don't know. I guess it runs fine now with the new engine in it. But I don't know if I want to spend that much money on a topper, because I'm sure I could build one for half that price. And then ain't nobody else got the same thing as I do. All right. I'm gonna finish this coffee. Should eat something. We'll put this coffee in me and get changed, and we'll probably get on the road. Got a bit of a drive today. This is a really gorgeous spot. I'm gonna have to get a couple of pictures before I pack my junk up. You can smell the pine. Yeah, this was nice. Definitely got a little bit of frost on the top of this that is melted. Sweet. But not too shabby. I've got about, I don't know, 4.5 hour drive today. Check out a spot that I just found on maps, so we've got something to see. Looks pretty interesting. You can hear the highway out there. semi or something going by. But yeah, I'm gonna get my junk packed up and hit the road. Alrighty, y'all. How do we get out of here? This way. We'll get headed on down the road. Like I said, I've got a spot we're gonna check out this afternoon, and we've got a spot picked out to camp. So should be a good one. We'll see where we end up at, but you'll just have to watch it and find out. So if you thought it was cool, give it a thumbs up, and as always, stay tuned for the next adventure. I'll see you in a bit. This way? I think so. Don't know where I'm going. It's a beautiful area.